Koyana playfully advises Victor that he might make use of the brothel in town.
I will take that under advisement. Thank you for the feedback.
Victor's like, I'm already there 8 times a week. My God, I've got my own room.
You've never actually been to the brothel.
Isn't that Orson?
Yeah, it's been Orson.
Yeah.
Orson is visiting the brothel much less frequently now that Evie
Gave an
made it
ultimatum.
very clear.
Just use protection, kiddo. Come on. Not that hard.
Oh my God, I read that the Neil Gaiman Death compilation. I bought that after watching Sandman, and one of the things in there's a comic where like Death is explaining how to use a condom, and she's like, "Oh, you put it on the banana like this," and then she shows how to do it. Like, and then after you can eat the banana, and I'm like, "That's great advice, Death. Thanks." So Evie wants a reading.
It doesn't have to be right now. I know we're in the middle of a scene.
Well, I mean, it has to be right now because she's leaving at the end of the scene.
Okay. All right.
All right, give me a second. I have a special text file where I'm keeping everybody's readings.
For sure.
I just have to find it.
Does she ask for payment?
Oh, of course. Yes.
Okay. Yep. What's the price tag?
What are you offering?
She already has one of my daggers.
She tells you that one of the men outside that works your fields or stokes your fire, she would be happy with a couple of silver pieces. But you are Duchess Evelyn.
Mm-hmm. Trying to think of what an appropriate gift for an Vistani is.
It's not gift, it's a payment.
Okay, payment. Hold on, I need to pull up our party sheet. I mean, how much gold would be appropriate?
Well, Edmont and Victor both, she took 25 gold from them.
Does she expect higher payment from the Duchess than her Duchess family?
The question is, what are you offering her? That's
Okay.
what she's posed to you.
All right.
Question of her expectations. I mean, you can make me an insight check if you like.
That sounds like a good idea.
I need to find my Taraka deck.
I got a 29 on insight.
29.
Like, I know it doesn't seem that way, but Evie's actually really good at reading people as long as I'm allowed to roll for it.
Look at all my dumb villainous stuff that I have.
Well, we can't because we can't see your menu.
Sorry. So yeah, what does Evie offer her?
Well, I got a 29 on insight. Does that tell me anything?
You think the reason she takes a few silvers from the men who work your fields, but she took 25 gold from the nobility, implies that she's placing value on your fortune relative to your social station. You're the Duchess. You're in charge. You beat everybody else in social station. It's really going to be a question of if Victor is worth 25 gold and a farmhand is worth, say, 3 silver, what is Evie worth compared to Victor?
That's a very subjective question.
It is. And you also get the sense that how you answer it is going to influence the reading itself. Because this is Evie placing value on herself. What is her sense of self-worth relative to, say, Victor?
I mean, she probably wouldn't say that she is worth more than Victor, but I feel like that would be a faux pas.
So the question lingers. What do you offer her?
I mean, I also have divination magic that I doubt she's interested in that, though.
So you're going to cast divination magic to find out how to pay for your
No,
divination
no.
magic?
I mean, I was like, you have divination, I have divination. I guess I can't give her a reading. My magic doesn't work that way.
So you're offering to do a divination on her behalf. Using what spell? Augury?
Yeah, but augury, I can. There's kind of some wiggle room for doing that because it has to be an action I take. But I could say if I were to help this person do this.
Is that what you're offering her? You'll perform for her an augury?
Does she seem receptive to that, or does she seem like she would take offense?
Well, you have to make the offer to know the answer to that.
I got it.
You can't know how she's going to react to the offer until you've made it.
I will. I'll float that idea and see what she thinks.
She considers it for a moment. What is your casting with augury? Like you cast the chicken bones or what?
It's tokens made of silver wood, and then she places one of her knives in the middle and spins it, and then it's like each token, like the spell comes down to weal or woe, but each token has like the prosperity or ruin, or the tokens have different meanings that mean like good or bad. So it's kind of like trying to think what like an analog.
So, but there's silver tokens and then a dagger, like a silver dagger. Okay.
There's a little bit of production to it. It would look cool.
She agrees to the payment, but she wants the tokens, the dagger, and anything else used in the casting after it's done.
Hang on, I need to look up how much that actually is. I think it's 25 gold.
Okay, so 25 gold worth of material components, which you can replace at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not hard. So I won't use one of my magic daggers. But yeah, I will be willing to give her I'll do a reading for her, and I will give her the dagger and the tokens.
Okay. She seems amenable to this.
All right.
She insists the reading be done in private.
Evie would prefer that, actually.
Because any fortunes revealed to and about the Duchess should be done in shadows to ensure that, because your fortune affects a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. She agrees.
Okay.
And she'll promise that she won't tell anyone what is revealed here.
She also insists her reading be done first.
All right. What would she like me to ask about?
She wants to know if she will ever find true love.
I pose the question: if I were to help Koyana find true love, what would she find?
I'm right here.
And the response is wheel, woe, wheel or woe.
Or nothing.
Or nothing. And the response is wheel and woe.
I tell her that, but I tell her, in this land, that seems to be a very common answer. I think you will find true love, but there will be difficulties, as there always are. It's never easy.
Okay, make me another insight check.
Mm-hmm. I don't have dice on this table.
Oh. Shoots.
You done goofed, Brickroad.
I messed everything up. Here, I can get you a metal.
You did a goof.
That's a 21.
Okay. You give her that answer, and she graciously accepts the payment and collects up the little tokens and the knife, but you definitely can see that she doesn't think you've worked any magic. You gave exactly the answer anybody would expect to that question. All right. Evie's... We can get rid of this now.
Okay.
Whatever was happening there was terrible. All right.
It was ambigulating it.
She casts the first card in the center. This is the core card. This is Evie's... essentially her central person. the 4 of coins. And she grins, as though she were expecting to see the card. The 4 of coins is the merchant. Somebody for whom everything is a commodity. All things to be bought, sold, and traded. The question is, are these things bought, sold, and traded for some end or purpose, or are they bought, sold, and traded for the purpose of buying, selling, and trading? She tells to the person who just bought a reading with a lesser reading. I have to make notes of what these are. That's why there's a pause in between each one. She casts a card above. This is the face card. This is how Evie presents herself to the world. She casts the 9 of swords. And she grimaces. The 9 of swords is the torturer. You present yourself to the world as stronger than you are, as strong as you wish them to see you. But inside, you are, and she chooses her words very carefully, lesser than you are perceived to be. Is it possible that in presenting yourself to the world as that which you are otherwise not, you are seen as less than you present? In trying to show you are chivalrous, knightly, just, do others see you merely as violent? She casts a card below. This is Evie's heart. This is the aspect of Evie's personality that she keeps hidden, that she doesn't show as her face. And she casts the marionette. She considers for a moment. Ah. But the face that you show to others is not your true face, but neither is the face that you hold inside. The face you show yourself. You tell yourself what you are, but you know you are not. As though, and she motions to the strings guiding the marionette's movements, someone or something from afar still has sway over you. King Evelyn, I wonder.
Evie has a different idea, but she doesn't say anything.
I'm sorry, it's not a marionette. It's a space clown. Friggin' Spelljammer. It's so dumb.
Does this card pop when you kill it?
They pop when you kill them. They're so dumb. She casts a card to the left. She says, this is the past. This is what you've left behind. Before revealing this card, she mentions that because it's in your past does not mean it's not important. Your face and your heart are shaped by what came before. And she reveals the 3 of glyphs. The 3 of glyphs is the healer. And typically when she would reveal this card for, say, a farmhand or a shepherd or a common man, she would think that it represents contagion, illness, disease in your past at some point, either personally or in family history. However, you're a member of the nobility, and you grew up in a rich house and in a place where magical healing not only was common, but also was on hand. And so she wonders at it for a moment. And she thinks, if it is not a physical disease which has ailed you in the past, which you have overcome, is it perhaps emotional or spiritual? What have you been healed of, Lady Evelyn? Then she casts your future. She places her finger gently on the card. And she advises you that there is still time to leave the card overturned, to not reveal it. And if you do so, she will return to you one of the tokens given from your augury as payment. She will consider the reading incomplete, and in some cases, that is the best place to leave it.
I must know.
She places a card to the right. She tells you that this is the future of Duchess Evelyn. And she stresses, understand that the person of Duchess Evelyn is greater than what is shown here in the core and the face and the heart. And she reveals the Seven of Stars. She leans back in her chair and gives you a kind of apologetic look, like, you did ask me to turn this. She says that your future is filled with lies, deceit. There is a grand conspiracy around you. It is impossible to say whether it is a conspiracy of your making or a conspiracy of others, although you are the Duchess and you do have enemies. And I'm sorry, I should not speak freely. I have concerns.
Evie bids her to continue.
Well, I know there is no malice between you and your family members, but the men and women of House Veritas are powerful magic users. They bend reality to do things that they want done. What are they doing to hide things, change things, or make them appear as they are not, in your eyes? The future of House Veritas, although the past of House Veritas was, in my understanding, the search for truth, knowledge, and clarity, the future is smoke and deceit.
What must I do?
She shrugs and tells you that that's not the purpose of the reading.
Thank you.
So what is Evie's demeanor? I'm assuming at this time, like, Ekon is down at the Vardo making his trades. Now would be a good time for anybody to do any purchasing out of the PHB that they want. I will also say for 50 gold pieces, you can purchase an unidentified or unspecified as of yet Vistani trinket, should you like. And yeah, what is Evie's demeanor as she comes out of the reading, as Koyana packs her things into the visiting Vardo and it leaves the village?
She's stone-faced. Doesn't give anything away. She has high deception. I don't know if that matters. She's not glowering. She's just is normal, really.
Okay. Then Ekon, you managed to get the ivory you need for your spell.
Okay.
Edmont is purchasing paints.
Okay.
So this is, just so everyone's aware, this is 250 gold pieces worth of incense. I had already started working on, like, trying to get a greenhouse with my hireling to get us more incense, because we are going to burn through this stuff. between
What-
Find Familiar, Legend Lore, and 2 or 3 other spells. But I am ready whenever everyone else is to cast the big divination and see what we can find about this cracked mirror.
Okay,
I-
are we not going to have money to pay Van
No, we-
Richten when he gets here?
We still have like 75 platinum
Yeah.
pieces.
And I still have like 2,000 gold pieces worth of spell components to pick up, so.
Okay. Before casting Legend Lore,
Mhm.
Ray wonders if you will indulge him. He has some questions to ask about the mirror that have come to his mind now that he's seen the state that it's in.
Yeah, by all means.
He requests that all 6 of you be present.
Okay.
And using a wand, Sedgwick casts Zone of Truth in the room. Does anybody resist this spell?
I mean,
I
if he's telling us beforehand that he's doing it, no.
Okay. Yeah, if you ask, he'll explain what the purpose of the wand is. And he doesn't, for Sedgwick's part, he doesn't think any of you have any compunction to deceive him, but it's his experience that when it comes to valuable magical artifacts like this, it's often the case that people will try to deceive themselves. And this spell presents against that.
Fair enough.
Ray asks these questions regarding the mirror. Well, regarding House Veritas in particular. While sleeping in this manor house, have any of you had strange dreams?
I think it's happened at some point. I just can't remember who it might have been.
I think it's just Victor.
Yeah, and Victor's might have been caused by something different. But Victor will explain.
So Victor explains about the dreams he had regarding his ailment.
Yeah.
Okay. Which have stopped, by the way. That has not happened since Darkwood
Yes.
did
Yeah.
his ritual.
Yeah, and he'll explain that the Darkwood does a ritual, and now they're gone, so I don't think it's a mirror, but
Who do you tell them Darkwood is when they inquire? Who is Darkwood? And does he know about these mirrors?
the Duke, who knows nothing about the mirrors.
Darkwood is a vassal of ours.
Regarding House Veritas, have there been any untoward ambitions? Anybody in the family or servant staying in the manor, anybody who has shown interest in overreaching their station?
It's very truthful when he says that
Evie
I-
orders everyone not to say anything.
Edmont doesn't. He wants no secrets between him and his cousin. Edmont says, "I do believe that you have not been a. I do believe that you've not been a good duchess, and I feel like I could have done a better job. So thus far,
So I tell you not to say anything, and then you say something defying your duchess right in front of these other people.
That's legitimately what they asked. So
Then
yeah,
the whole Jerry Springer audience goes, "Damn!"
yeah. I want no secrets between us, cousin."
Anybody else?
I mean, Jeannie's happy as long as she's got. I mean, you know what Jeannie's like life ambitions are. So
Does like Evie call for like an end to the interview there, or she just orders like nobody answer that, and then Edmont disobeys her? And then what's her reaction?
No one else has any other. No one else defies her orders.
Ekon looked like he was about to say something, but he stops himself after you say that.
Speak, brother.
I legitimately have no complaints.
No secrets between us and our family. Yes, we are family, are we not?
Ray, who's giving the questions, it would help our understanding of the nature of this mirror and the potential harm it's doing here. If you were to speak freely and honestly to these questions. They were carefully considered, my lady, he says to Evelyn.
Very well, continue. She gestures to Ekon.
I think Victor had some thoughts recently about taking over because he didn't like the way Evie was running things. My recollection of the last few weeks.
Oh, I have no desire to run this town. I just don't want to see this town destroyed because it's run badly.
Have there been murders?
There's been one murder, actually.
Under what circumstances?
3 jealous men who had an altercation. I'll explain the situation to them, just the facts, as relates to Tech, his altercations with the men, and then like them going to, and then them getting caught.
Yeah.
Are we leaving out the part where they had help from like a weird fairy princess?
I mean, I will
Okay.
say that they sought outside magical assistance to, bypass the authorities, but in the end they were caught, basically.
What is the nature of the magical assistance that they had?
Uh,
The ability to evade lies.
they had
Or
Like-
magic lie detecting magic. Like this spell you're casting right now would not have worked.
Do you know the source of the magic?
An
Yes.
unseelie creature.
So do you guys
The-
describe the
Since, yeah.
wood spirit?
Yep.
Do you tell them what you've done to that wood spirit?
Yep.
Okay. For Ray's part, when he hears the story, his interest seems almost purely academic. Like, you see no judgment on his face when there's bickering about ambition or that you may have destroyed a woodland spirit. He moves on. He asks, are there secrets hidden in the manse or in the village? Places that did not seem to be there before.
oh yes.
Yes.
And he starts asking some probing questions about what that might look like.
At this point, it's just the underground cave and the graveyard, right?
Those would be the most extreme examples, yes. But you've also had changes in village population and things
Oh,
that
right,
villagers
right.
seem to have remembered over time.
Yes.
Yeah. And Edmont would be steering the conversation that way and away from the fact that he's got a giggle dungeon.
I mean, we knew the Giggle Dungeon was there. We put the Giggle Dungeon there. So
Yeah, no, we put the giggle dungeon there, but Edmont is very, very pointedly trying to keep away from the manse.
So to be clear, the question was, are there secrets hidden in the manse in the village? So 2 separate questions. And very pointedly, we're not telling him one of us is a werewolf and we have solved this problem by building a dungeon and we're keeping it secret.
Jeannie will say yes. There's secret areas in the thing with the this room. We're in the mirror room right now, right?
It can be in whatever room you want.
Okay. Well, we have the mirror room in the mansion, and then explain the population, the changes to the villagers' cognition of recent events, stuff like that. She'll also go into like
So
efforts to.
what I want to know is, at the end of this conversation, are Ray and Sedgwick aware that Edmont is a werewolf and that you chain him up in the basement once a month to make sure he doesn't hurt anybody?
Not from Jeannie's lips.
Does anybody make that known? Okay.
If Edmont doesn't, then no.
Okay. So you're taking your cue from Edmont. Like, that's his secret to keep. Okay, got it.
Yep.
Ray's final question is, at any point, to your knowledge, since you've arrived, have the mists completely enveloped the manse or the village?
That's a
I
no.
don't think anything like that's happened. We had the roots that ran through the city. That was not related to mist.
And do you like describe a little bit about the source of the roots and your adventure in hunting them down? And
Yeah, there's some kind of evil tree ghost. He's still there, but he seems to be dormant for the time being.
I hate when evil tree ghosts happen. Sedgwick and Ray, thank you for your time and for your candid answers. Ray doesn't say it outright, so Sedgwick kind of speaks for him and explains that this was excellent information, and it's going to be very good in helping Ray to understand whether or not this mirror's influence is seeping out amongst your family or out into the village.
Very well.
And then I guess at that point the ball is in Ekon's court for Legend Lore.
So Ekon takes out his holy symbol, which now has some ivory straps across it. He sets it in front of him, pulls some braziers out of his pack, carefully dusts a significant amount of incense, lights each of them, and sits down in a trance and casts Legend Lore, which I believe takes an hour.
Okay.
While you're doing this, Jeannie looks at you and, like, you're unpacking everything. She says, you still haven't replaced your traveling clothes, but you bought braziers.
Yeah, so 10 minutes of Ekon sitting here speaking soft prayers with his head bowed as he's doing the Legend Lore.
Okay.
While Ekon is this will just take a second. While Ekon is doing that, Evie takes Edmont aside.
And
says,
just bitch slaps him.
No. She says, Edmund Tiberius Veritas, do not ever admit weakness in this house to an outsider ever again. Do you
Said to
understand?
be truthful. But where is the weakness centered, I wonder?
When you tell people things like that, it makes our life harder.
Our life is already very much hard. I don't see how that can possibly compound it anymore.
Evie,
Mm-hmm.
roll a d20.
God damn it. That's the wrong kind of dice. That's a 3.
3.
Sorry.
It's up to you to decide how you interpret Edmont's response, obviously. However, you cannot help but see that illusionist card. In fact, for a moment, it's all you can see. And then Ekon finishes casting the spell. Ekon, you receive a vision about the construction of this mirror. You see its history. You see the man who ordered it built and of whom it was ordered. The man is none other than Aslan Rex himself, and he is angry. And he's speaking psionically with a creature standing before him in his room in Castle Avernus. Might be an Arcana check, Ekon.
You got it. Ooh, I am out of blips, so that is going to just come out as a 5-6.
Okay. It's a nightmarish, monstrous humanoid creature, the likes of which, like, if you were to ask a 5 or 6-year-old kid back in Brennanine, like, draw your favorite unseelie monster, the kind of people that, like, the monster that haunts your nightmares, so, like, our great knights of air can slay it in great epic combat. The thing has rubbery, taut, deeply purple skin, and where its face should be is just a mass of writhing tentacles.
Nice.
Oh, good. Something that can eat Evie.
There are 5 or 6 of these creatures standing in the room before Aslan, and they are cowering before him. Aslan insists that when he gave them leave to settle in the mountains bordering his realm, the only reason he didn't obliterate their unworthy and monstrous kind immediately is because they assured him none of their race had any interest in dealing in arcane magics, which he sees as explicitly his purview. One of their numbers has betrayed them. As a result, Aslan has ordered them to construct this mirror that this heretic among them might be imprisoned. And if this is not carried out within 1 year, Aslan is going to destroy all of them and wipe them from Darkhan. That's the vision you receive, and as far as you can tell, the mirrors did get constructed and delivered as requested.
I will share that with all of my companions and the 2 investigators.
Neither of them know what this nightmarish creature is either.
So the
A
big
lot of
trap.
tentacles. Can I do my best to draw it while it's still fresh in my mind?
Yeah, give me a dexterity, and then if you have artist tools or something, you can add your proficiency bonus.
Cousin, describe every detail you can to me.
Sure, yeah. Why don't I just focus on describing it and let my brother draw it?
Okay.
So that's what check would that be then?
Just a straight wisdom check.
Okay,
Would be appropriate.
12.
12?
Wisdom.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, Edmont, you're drawing this monster, and it's a humanoid monster wearing robes that have these... It has this deep purple flesh and this writhing mass of tentacles upon its face. And yeah, Ray and Sedgwick, they don't know what the creature is either. It looks like something out of a storybook. However, they do want to know who the little man with the straw hat is. And
Artistic
why was
liberty.
he drawn?
Artistic liberty. I really can't control it sometimes.
Is
So
Sound
it-
of Truth still up?
No, this is much, much later after that.
So
Yeah.
my understanding is like he would draw a picture and the straw man would appear later. Is he actually actively drawing the straw man now?
I mean, when he was done drawing the sketch and turned over the page, yeah, there's a little sketch of the man in the straw hat. As in everything he draws. The next day, Sedgwick requisitions a list of kind of bizarre, perhaps, but not uncommon or difficult to find materials. Bits of different types of metal, some quantity of burlap, different kinds of fasteners and things that Jeannie might have on hand.
And he probably has all of that on hand. She just lets him take whatever he wants out of her workshop.
Do you just let him work in there?
Yeah, he can work in there. It's fine.
Okay.
I don't really have anything in there that is super sensitive.
Okay.
That's too many explosions to keep anything, fragile in there.
A few days later, Sedgwick calls everybody back into the mirror room at the Duchess's convenience.
Sure.
It's a very cramped space. Let's actually get the map back on screen here. I know that Saul has made a new version of the map. Specifically,
Like you're sacrificing bathrooms on the floors for the upper-majigger.
right, the upper-majigger.
That sounds very specifically like something that like a mad scientist would do. We don't need this bathroom.
So he's cobbled together some kind of device, and what it looks like is this lashed together wooden box with magical runes and things etched around the side of it, placed directly he places it directly in the center of the two mirrors. Snaking off of the wooden box, 3 on one side and 3 on the other, are what look like tubes. they're flexible and they're porous. Like if you held them up to a light, you could see through them. And each one is connected to a cloth hat. And Sedgwick clasps his hands together and says, "All right, here's the plan. I have constructed a device. It will use a very simple 14-step process to gather together the psionic and magical implementations of your personalities and then project them," and he points at the mirror, "onto the surface of the magical mirror so that you may explore it and descend into its cracks to determine the dangers that lurk beneath. I ask you, House Veritas, are any among you courageous enough to undertake this task?"
Judy's already putting the helmet on.
Victor issues a silent curse to his fellow players, then says, "Sounds like adventure."
Sounds very distressing, but I would rather the safety of our house be secured.
Do you have a method in place to retrieve us?
He says that's the beauty of the device, that your physical forms will still be inside of this room, and what's projected onto the mirror will be the essence of your magic. Ekon, make me an insight check. This would be appropriate for Ekon. Actually, anybody who is trained in religion should make this insight check.
That would be an insight of 18.
Okay. Sedgwick is deliberately avoiding using the term soul in this case, even though that's essentially what he's describing.
I think we had this exact same discussion with the talking about the chair
The
and what it eats.
the theological, what do I want to say? The theological argument for the holographic principle of space. That's
Sure.
what we're doing.
So, while you're on the mirror, he says, if you were to direct something into what will be your perspective, the sky, it will actually project out into the room. And to that effect, and he produces this comically oversized brass horn. If you were to blow this horn while standing upon the mirror, and he hands it to whoever wants to take it.
I mean, I'll take it.
Then it was trained in playing a horn?
If the theory is sound, I should be able to hear it from this room, and then hit this, and he throws back the side of the wooden box in the center of the room, and inside is just a small, just hodgepodge of mechanical controls. He points to one of them. This fail-safe button. When thrown, whether you be alive or discombobulated or in mortal peril, should immediately call all of you back to your living bodies, and no harm shall pass.
I'm hearing a lot of ifs and shoulds, Sedgwick.
Well,
I mean, that's pretty par for the course.
He stammers out, say,
The arcane
much of this-
sciences are not like an exact science.
How much of
Ray.
this is theory, and how much of this is actual practical applications that you have tested before?
when Jeannie says that the arcane sciences are not an exact science, Ray looks up from behind his black glasses. That is a very wise, very learned way to explain my understanding of the situation. I could not have said it better. What was Edmont's question?
How much of this is theory, and how much of it is actual practical? How much of this has been practical and tested in the past?
So, the parts that he's tested, and he's excited to tell you about this, he knows for a certainty that the hats will fit.
Good.
So I have
It's
a question.
important.
I have a very important question. So this is just going to project us onto the mirror, correct?
It will project the important parts of you, the parts that can guide and control magic.
Okay. What about our
What ab-
equipment? Like, you gave us this horn, right? To blow to get out. What if the horn doesn't go?
Well, that's going to be a determination of how important you see your equipment, including this beautiful horn, as being essential to your mission. What parts of what you carry do you consider a part of you?
There's some sort of safety thing, right? Where if we're not out in like some amount of time, you'll pull us out.
How much time does he says in theory there shouldn't be any danger to simply putting the hats on and sending you into the mirror and then leaving the situation alone.
Edmont holds up his drawing of the tentacly thing, except for this, right?
Well, now this is the beautiful part. He leans forward. If there turns out to be a horrible, betentacled monster sealed within this mirror, powerful enough that this was the only means of capturing it. And then he seizes up, as though he doesn't want to say the next part. Ah. Yes, I, perhaps didn't think this through.
Whatever. And then Genie puts the hat on.
as far as I just wanted understood that we do have our reservations. I mean, I still don't see a reason why we have no we really have no other choice to resolve the situation. So I feel like I just wanted understood of the risks involved.
If we die in the mirror, do we die here?
Ray speaks up. What Arthur means to say is that if you destroy the monster within the mirror, the monster should be destroyed. As a corollary to that, if you were to die while projected into the mirror, your body would die outside of it as well.
But if we kill the monster, will we be trapped in the mirror because the monster is now gone?
No, Sedgwick says he has his failsafe button. He can pull you all back once you blow this horn.
Okay, if we don't blow the horn, can you pull us back in like 24 hours?
So the limiting factor is like at some point your bodies on the outside are going to have to eat and sleep and like poop and stuff. Other than that, there shouldn't, in theory, be any limit on how long you can spend inside the mirror.
Yeah, but we don't want to stay in there indefinitely.
So if you want to agree on after 24 hours, pull us out no matter what, he's agreeable to that.
I say 48. Because who knows what's in there. If we leave,
a rest in there. But what I'm understanding from game mechanics purposes is we cannot take a rest in there.
Question: if you pull us out, can you put us back in?
At that, Sedgwick is about to launch into another grandiose explanation, but Ray stops him. Arthur. To which Sedgwick responds, what Ray means to say is that the failsafe, the manner by which it... no, I can't.
So we get one shot at this. All right. I think 24 hours is a little bit too little time, because we don't know how big the inside of this mirror is.
Yeah, there's no way to estimate that.
Can we? How many times will this work? Can we come out after 24 hours and try again tomorrow?
Sedgwick thinks once he pulls you out, he won't be able to send you back in. The mechanism, the way it's cobbled together, is only going to work once.
All right. Well, let's at least wait until tomorrow, so I can be, have all my resources be prepared for what do we think is what is on the surface of the. Yeah, give me a day. Tomorrow morning, after I do my morning prayers, I'll be ready to go.
You have the best idea of what we face inside that thing that any of us do, brother.
Yeah, my idea is I definitely want to do it tomorrow.
My artistic
off long term,
representation notwithstanding.
Orson, for his part, listening to this, looking at the contraption and listening to everybody's concerns, He says, to be honest, I don't see much material difference between descending into this mirror versus descending into the catacombs. There's
Agreed.
danger in either field.
Right. I think that 24 hours is a little bit too short for an expedition into this, especially since we only get one chance. I think we should.
Well, I asked them if they have any idea what we should expect to find within.
They would if you guys had any idea of what this creature was, but none of you have seen this kind of creature before. It just looks like a horrific fairy tale monster.
Yep.
You know that Aslan made these, when these creatures appeared in Darkhan, made them promise that none of them would pursue arcane mastery. One of them did. That is the one that would be sealed within the mirror. That's why Aslan ordered them to build it.
Okay, so in addition to whatever abilities this creature has, it's also potentially a powerful wizard. Powerful enough to get Aslan's attention, at least.
All right.
Indeed.
Yeah, Evie just says start making preparations.
Okay? So you guys are going to wait till tomorrow morning, then head into the mirror.
I want
Yep.
everyone to be, ready to go.
Yep.
All right, go ahead and take the benefits of the long rest and prepare for the dungeon excursion. We're going to take a break there. Seems like a good spot to drop the curtain. Go ahead and get your coffee, get your bagel. Let us reconvene at about 10 after 4.
Rad.